Hello guys. Welcome to Diablo the Primordial. This video is the continuation video after help arrived. So if you have not watched it, then please watch it. The link is in the description. And please check out my second channel Top Anime Sensei for the light novel of Tensura. So without any further delay, let's start. But before we start, please like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss the updates. That being said, it looks like Leon-sama did notice the fact that I have been holding back. Mizari took glances at Leon as she said that. Leon nods with a bitter-looking face. Of course I did, as if a measly demon noble could maintain a barrier powerful enough to withstand my attacks. How would I not notice that you were restraining your output and planning to do something? Who would have thought that your plan was to depend on the reinforcements from Demon Lord Rimuru? So, does Guy really trust Rimuru? Does he think he is the key to ending this battle? About that. It's not like considerations from someone like me would affect Guy-sama's intentions, but personally, I have come to the conclusion that believing Demon Lord Rimuru is the correct course of action. That was what was decided at Walpurgis too. To Leon's question, Mizari stuttered for a moment, before she answered. Though her answer was the truth, Leon felt he was pressured by those words, as he never did fully trust Rimuru even though they talked of cooperation. At the same time, Mizari, who is a demon, couldn't hide her own surprise at herself for speaking of trusting any demon lord other than Guy. As one of the few absolute beings that were crowned in ages past, Mizari was one of the capable few who surpassed the ex-demon lords. As she understood her own true nature, she felt the surprise excessively. Mizari never broke her courteous tone towards any other person, but turns into a cold-hearted slaughterer the moment she is given orders. That was her identity, as the great demon who heads Guy's minions. So, the number of weaklings have increased, and one of you insects got a little power up. Did you really think you could stand up against me? No doubt Leon over there is mostly half dead. Even if Mizari there did get a boost in power, she's not even close to half of me. I don't see where the problem is. With a fearless smile, Kazarium cuts into Leon and Mizari's conversation. To Kazarium, he is already looking down on his opponent as an awakened demon lord who is inferior to himself. With a cold gaze towards Kazarium. Then, allow me to give an additional explanation. A normal demon lord class being has, EP, 200,000 400,000, and that's the lowest to the highest. Similarly, a demon noble is EP 200,000 to 400,000 too, and that is distinguished by the Baron to the Duke classes. Certainly, Leon-sama's followers have evolved and attained power, but they sit at the Viscount class of EP, below 250,000, at most. Kazarium-sama's fellow brethren too, with the exception of Laplace, are at the higher end of the Demon Lord class at EP, below 400,000. Neither are even remotely close to be called beings that have power surpassing Demon Lords. The Demon Lords of the current octagram, with the exception of one person, are all of the million class at EP, 1 million. From what I have just mentioned, the phrase, surpassing a demon lord, is quite the excessive term. Now then, with all of that in mind, and though this might sound rude, the battle between Leon-sama's followers and the members of the moderate clown troupe is not but child's play. I have come to the conclusion that it is at a level that can be ignored. The order I have received from Guy-sama is to obtain victory. To that end, I have maintained this barrier and awaited the reinforcements from Demon Lord Rimuru-sama. This was the best course of action I have taken in order to decisively defeat Kazarium-sama, a plan that ignores everything besides the million class. So, that meant that Kazarium-sama's victory condition would be to defeat me before reinforcements arrived, that and nothing else. From my analysis as I bought time earlier, the main ability that Kazarium-sama uses is auto-reflection. You stack damage onto your opponent, by neutralizing your opponent's attack with the same attack with a roughly 20% increase in output. If this was done by a being that had overwhelming amounts of energy, it would be an incredibly efficient method. It's also troublesome, that you wield both holy and demonic attributes. As long as you have more energy, you most likely will never be defeated. But, for you to continue neutralizing attacks, it means you have no other choice but to consume energy. The 20% increase in consumption seems to apply equally, whether it is one of Leon-sama's attacks, or one of my held-back attacks. The reasoning behind waiting for reinforcements, would it be clearer to say that my aim was to gather enough power to overwhelm what Kazarium-sama can neutralize? Leon-sama along with Benimaru-sama and Soy-sama would most likely be able to deal with Kazarium-sama, after some depletion from having to face me at full power. Victory is ours this time, Kazarium-sama. Hey, Ojo-chan. What do ye mean by with the exception of me? Not to be rude, but I was unable to discern how much energy you have. That means, you are either equal to or above me, that is my conclusion. You give me too much credit. Thinning his eyes, Laplace gave off a sharp gaze unbefitting of his casual attitude. Towards Mazari, who did not underestimate him, he gave a good grief impression. Soy showed a bitter face as his true identity was revealed by someone else, but did not voice his complaint. The group of people who were tossed aside in this conversation, namely Leon's knights Claude and others, and Terre, were unable to voice their words of rejection in the face of Mazari's aura. Because they understood what was said were undeniable facts. But, even after hearing Mazari's explanation and feeling her aura, Kazarium's composure was not broken at all. Fufun, I knew all along that you were hiding your true power. Don't be giving such arrogant speeches, being a weakling who cannot fight without resorting to such stopgap measures. Even if all you worms came at me together, you still wouldn't come close to the great me. The fact that none of you can beat me doesn't change. Let me show you weaklings, what real despair and fear is. As he shouted, he released all the power he has held back that stopped him from outright killing Leon. In addition to the pressure that distorted space within the barrier, an ominous aura now dominated the field. The aura Mazari was releasing, was quashed in an instant. By an overwhelming energy, one which could be said to surpass awakened demon lords. There were no lies in Kazarium's words, as the storm of his tyranny vastly exceeds Mazari's calculations. What? It can't be. To think, he had that much. What just happened was effective enough to cause the composed Mazari to waver, and Mazari's expression changed. Kazarium was overwhelming, so overwhelming that she couldn't keep her composure. She herself had energy in the million class, Leon too. Even so, she still felt so overwhelmed by Kazarium. The estimate that there is almost 3 times the amount of energy that she just told Leon earlier, felt like an understatement. This is more than what was anticipated. I had estimated it to be 3 times or more than me, but this. A blow from Kazarium made its way to Mazari's abdomen, to interrupt their conversation. Kazarium's fist pierced through Mazari, breaking her arms which she crossed to protect herself, as though crushing fragile rotten twigs. Haha. Aren't you misunderstanding something, just because I have been holding back on killing you? That's just naive, you weaklings. This Kazarium-sama, have gained the greatest power ever. Kazarium laughs boisterously. Nay-san, that's some absurd stuff you are pulling out there. Fine by me, guess I'll need to prepare for the worst too. He took a rainbow orb out, as he said that. That was a spirit jewel. It was an orb that housed energy equal to the souls of 10,000 humans. Laplace breaks the orb, and replenishes his energy. This didn't cause him to awaken, he did it to prepare himself to fully support Kazarium. You lot have been sneakily thinking of many things, but all of it was for naught. After all, this is but the fate of beings that do not wield enough power. Kazarium laughs haughtily. Lamenting, Mazari says, at this rate, accomplishing my orders would be. My apologies, looks like my outlook was too naive. At the least, I will attempt to cause mutual destruction with an extreme anti-demon elimination attack. Do take care of matters afterward. Putting her existence in the line, to shave off as much of Kazarium's power as possible. Leaving future matters to Leon and Benimaru and co. Those were Mazari's intentions. But, you're called Mazari, right? Like what that drag said, no need to overthink things too much. You called for reinforcements, we answered the call and made it in time. That's all that matters, right? Walking past beside of Mazari who was knocked down, Benimaru took the point. And, Soy, you deal with the clown over there. I'll be the one to kill that drag. He indifferently declares, paying no heed to the situation whatsoever. I guess I can accept that. I'll give in, but be sure to finish the job. He did insult Rimuru-sama nonetheless. Don't worry about that. It's not like there's any worthwhile information to obtain, so there's no reason to let him live, am I right? True that. You being you may have forgotten about this, but seems like that fellow is Clayman's master. That means. So he's the source who was behind that Gelmid guy, right? I know that all right. Benimaru and Soy went on with their seemingly frivolous conversation in such a manner. Just what are you people talking about? Hey you two over there, are you meaning to say, you are gonna take on that monster Kazarium all by yourself? Mazari and Leon spoke out at the same time. Mazari hastily regenerates and returns to the front lines in combat form, showing her stance to take on the challenge once more. Leon does so too, with his pride as a demon lord on the line, in an effort to return the favor against Kazarium. Despite that, Benimaru and Soy were talking with the intention to do this themselves. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys have not watched my earlier videos, then please watch them. The links are in the description. And please check out my other channel Top Anime Sensei for the light novel of Tensura. And don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss the updates.